Thank you, Dan, and a very good evening to you, wherever and however you're listening to Talksport 2. The Championship about to hit the halfway stage with Christmas just around the corner, and given the tightly packed mid-table in which both Birmingham City and Reading find themselves, back-to-back wins at this point can see you in a playoff chase. Back-to-back defeats can plunge you back towards the bottom three. Little margin for error then, and error-strewn seasons have been the hallmark of the Blues since this current ownership took charge. Currently 14th Birmingham, they've never finished above 17th under this board stewardship. Reading will be a top six side again with a win tonight. They could go above Watford into fifth with a win, also going level with Norwich in fourth on 35 points with an inferior goal difference. They'd won just one of 9 before back-to-back wins. Birmingham, 1 defeat in 6, but no win in 3. It's an unchanged Birmingham side from the team that got a 0-0 draw at Blackpool last weekend. John Ruddy, the keeper, Dion Sanderson, Mark Robertson, Austin Trusty in a back three, Maxime Collin, Hannibal Medsbury, Christian Bielik, Juninho Bakuna and Manny Longelo in midfield. Troy Deeney and Tahith Chong as a front two. Still no Scott Hogan, injured and not on the bench for Birmingham. The subs are Etheridge, Graham, James, Bellingham, that's Joe Bellingham, the younger brother of Jude, who's here to watch his lad play, perhaps, Chang, Leko and Jutkovic. As for Reading, they also line up with a very similar system, 3 at the back, 5 in midfield and 2 up top. It's Joe Lumley in goal on loan from QPR, Tom McIntyre, Naby Sarr and Abadou Mbenge are the back 3. Andy Yiadom, Tom Ince, Jeff Hendrick, Mamadou Loom and Baba Rahman are the midfield 5 from right to left. Shane Long and Yaku Mete are the strike force, and on the bench Buzanis, Guinness Walker, Aziz, Hoylett, Forner, Joao and Andy Carroll. Teams just being led out across the pitch to line up in front of this old main stand in which we're sat, whilst there's so much construction work going on around St Andrews at the moment. The lower tiers of the Tilton end to our left and the Cop stand immediately opposite our commentary position are ongoing to repair structural defects in those lower tiers. The top tiers are looking pretty respectably full. Reading have brought at least 1,000, I would say, away to my right hand side in the Gil Merrick stand, and we're ready for some Friday night football once again on Talksport 2. Not the first Friday night kick-off that Birmingham have had. They're winning a defeat in 2 Talksport 2 commentaries that we brought you. Courtney was here for both of those, the win against QPR and the defeat to Sunderland. And Reading's away strip is a very natty sort of peach affair that they're wearing this evening. Yeah, it's I like it. I'd wear it, though. It's different. At least I'll be able to read the numbers, as opposed to the usual thing with the blue and white hoops.
Yeah, we don't like stripes, do we?
Well, I don't mind stripes. It's the lack of a panel with the stripes that bothers me. Anyway, we are almost ready for the off here at St Andrews, but I must make an important point. There will be a moment of silence before kick-off here in memory of the youngsters that so tragically passed away in that incident on Babsmill Lake, not far from here in the Kingshurst district of Solihull, where young boys fell into the ice on a frozen lake. One of them, of course, passed away this week from injuries sustained in hospital. And there will be a moment of silence. The players are just lining up around the centre circle. These are the Birmingham players. Meantime, the referee is just sorting out the coin toss with our respective captains, Andy Yiadom and Troy Deeney. It's Tim Robinson who's in charge tonight of this one, and all the players will be asked to line up. And let's hand you over to the public address, Richie, who can detail the reason for the moment's silence here.
We ask for all fans to join the players and officials in silence to remember those boys who are no longer with us.
And our thoughts and our love go to those families so tragically affected by the events at Babs Mill Lake last weekend. Players break away to their respective ends, and we're about to get things underway. So your weekend of live football to get underway once again here on your home of the EFL, Talksport 2, with this championship clash between 14th place Birmingham City and 8th place Reading. A reminder that a win for the home side would take them onto the fringes of the playoffs into 7th, whilst Reading would go back into the playoff picture if they get the 3 points here into 5th. Two of the sides who spent the longest as championship sides. It's Birmingham's 12th consecutive campaign at this level, although they've had some dalliances with the wrong end of the table and survived. For Reading, it's their 10th consecutive season at this level, and last season they had concerns that they were going to drop, but not so. Both sides have managed to keep their heads above water. It's not that long since Reading were in a playoff final that they lost to Huddersfield Town. But it's Birmingham City who will get us underway. They're wearing their traditional strip of the royal blue shirts and shorts with the white socks. Reading in that change strip of peach shirts with black shorts and socks, and on the instruction of Tim Robinson's players take the knee to show their continuing support for the fight against racial injustice. No room for racism is always the message. And Tahi Chong a bit too eager to get the game underway. Tim Robinson was just backing away from the centre circle.
He wants to get going, he wants to get running and get himself warm again.
Can you blame him? Because it's a cold, dry night in the city of Birmingham. Not too much wind around, so it's not particularly uncomfortable to sit here and watch football, but it certainly is bang on freezing point, I would say. We're underway then on Talksport 2. And Reading, who are attacking the Tilton Road end to our left in this first half as we sit towards the back of the old main stand here at St Andrews. And the ball is with the giant figure of Naby Sarr. Plays it to his right for Amadou Mbenge. Scored his first senior goal for Reading last week in the win against Coventry City for that back-to-back success. McIntyre under pressure from Bakuna gives the ball back to Joe Lumley, but his clearance doesn't go far. Birmingham will get meaningful possession inside the Reading half for the first time with Bakuna. Collard takes over, drifts infield from the right-hand touchline, goes back out to the right wing, and Bakuna shows inside and clips a left-footed ball into the box. It'll break for Deeney. Deeney scores! A minute gone at St Andrews, and Troy Deeney fires Birmingham in front. It all started from a clearance from Lumley that was intercepted. Bakuna's ball into the box, and Deeney fired home, having collected the ball on the 6-yard line. The Reading players remonstrate with the official, but the goal stands. Birmingham 1, Reading 0.
Yeah, I think the issue is they're looking for the offside when the ball comes in Bakuna, but it comes off a Reading player. So in terms of restarting that phase of play, I think that's the argument, that's why the goal will stand. But there's still a lot to do here. We're just getting the benefit of the replay. It's a lovely ball in, initially left-footed, isn't it, by Bakuna. It comes off the Reading defender. And to be fair, he's onside when the ball gets kicked there, Troy Deeney. Yeah. He looks to be onside. He's bent his run really well. And as I say, there's still a lot to do when this comes to him in the box. But he's got so much experience, Troy Deeney. Takes the initial touch and then hard and low, and it's a really, really good finish and a fantastic start from Birmingham. Nothing more than a deserve, because actually the couple of times that it's gone back to Joe Lumley, they've high-pressed Birmingham, so showing their intent early on in this game.
4th goal of the season for Troy Deeney, and Birmingham City have the lead here at St Andrews, live on Talksport 2. I think it was Naby Sarr that was narrowly playing Troy Deeney onside as Bakuna sent the left-footed ball in from the right. But he smacked it home, took it on his chest with his back to goal, a swivel and a hit. And Deeney, the Birmingham captain, leading by example.
It's a great spot by the linesman as well, because as you say, it was a close one, but definitely got the right decision there.
Sarr in possession for Reading as they try and get some possession together to respond to going behind this early on this Friday night. Ball down the left-hand side, looking to get Hendrick away. Might break for Shane Long, but across comes Mark Roberts with a no-nonsense clearance into this main stand. And Reading will have a throw at the Tilton Road end, about 10 yards from the corner flag on the left-hand side. 1-0 Birmingham.
Yeah, and it's just been a really good start from Birmingham. Obviously Reading trying to get back in play, and then you've seen there in terms of Shane Long, it was almost a little bit a lost cause in his chasing that, and he's managed to win a throw-in for his team. But as I say, the high press from Birmingham really did set the tone and got the early goal, got themselves in front and deserved it.
Bakuna toe pokes it down this near side of Birmingham right. Chong has just taken the ball out of play. He thought the ball hadn't gone over the line all the way, but the assistant on this near side disagreed, so Reading will have a throw just over the halfway line in their left back position right in front of us, and that'll be taken by Babar Rahman, who was in the warm of Qatar only a couple of weeks ago playing for his country Ghana. Now he's back in freezing temperatures. Proper reality check for some of these players. Hannibal out there as well for Birmingham, having been part of the Tunisia team that took part in the World Cup, that comes to a conclusion on Sunday with the final that you can hear live on Talksport at 3 o'clock. Argentina against France, and the third and fourth place playoff tomorrow between Morocco and Croatia. That was also live on Talksport at 3 o'clock. Rahman charging down Maxime Collin as he tries to clear, and he hits the ball against Rahman, does he? He wants to throw. No, it's been given Reading's way, and then Mate trying to keep it in play. It's gone out of play, and it'll be a goal kick. But that looked like a throw-in to Birmingham as it came off the knee of Babar Rahman, but neither ref nor assistant gave it, and Reading nearly profited. 1-0 Birmingham.
Yeah, and I'm trying to give the linesman some credit earlier on, but that's definitely the wrong decision there. You can see clearly that Collin, he plays the ball back off Babar Rahman, but they take it quick, try and profit from it, Reading, but the ball just goes out. But that could have resulted in an equaliser. It's a really poor decision from the officials.
John Ruddy will have the resulting goal kick for Birmingham City. They lead by 1-0 with 5 minutes gone on Talksport 2 here at St Andrews in the Championship. Trusty, on loan from Arsenal, has become a bit of a cult hero for Birmingham supporters. Scored the second goal here against QPR with a very well improvised finish, and he's won a throw on that far side in front of the lower cop stand, which still has plenty of banners stretched across it to hide the construction work that's going on underneath. Reading win the ball back inside their own half, and Rahman will now be able to advance towards the halfway line down the left hand side. Faced it by Bakuna, so he rolls it back for McIntyre. No Tom Holmes for Reading tonight at the back. He picked up a head injury against Coventry and had to go off, so presumably concussion protocols have had to be observed with regard to Tom Holmes. Naby Sarr now has it just at the edge of the centre circle in his own half. Plays it out to the left-hand touchline when McIntyre's waiting. Tries to clip it down the left-hand side for Jeff Hendrick, but Dion Sanderson, who's just celebrated his 23rd birthday, wins it back. And then Deeney looks to release Tae Chong down the right-hand side, right-hand corner of the box. Chong holds it up, might go for goal. It's blocked on its way to goal. Good defending by Naby Sarr. And Rahman will clear his lines for Reading. Flicked on by Hendrick, but Collin picks up the loose ball and Birmingham have it back 1-0.
It was a beautiful first time ball that from Troy Deeney. You see he had the picture in his head, but this game has started so frantically.
Here's Tom Ince trying to get down the other end for Reading, but he runs into the challenge of Trusty, and Hannibal brings it away down the inside left channel, but he's dispossessed by Tom Ince, who gets back to the halfway line and then clips it back into his own half for Mbenge. Now Sarr again at the edge of the centre circle inside his own half, looking for an option, can go left or right, elects to go right, misses out Mbenge, and it's picked up by Yiadom, who's been playing as a centre half in recent weeks, but back in a slightly more familiar right wing back position for the Royals this evening. Trusty trying to prevent a corner but can't do so. So Reading are 1-0 down, but they have the first corner of the game at the Tilton Road end, 7 minutes in, 1-0.
Yeah, you could see what Trusty was trying to do there, and he's frustrated with himself. He's just trying to shepherd the ball out and use his strength, but he gets the final touch, and it's more than anything, yes, it's an attacking opportunity, but maybe a bit of respite for Reading, because in this first 8 minutes or so it's been all Birmingham.
But Reading have a corner where the Tilton meets the Cop, away to our left hand side. So Tom Ince, a left footed in swinger to come from him. Couple of Reading players in the 6-yard box as it's swung deep to the far post by Ince. The heads go up, Roberts gets it half clear, Hannibal's chasing after it, and it's picked up by Yiadom on this near side of the left. Plays a 1-2, takes the ball in his chest in the box, gets the shot away. Great save, Reading tips it round the post for a second successive corner to the Royals, and Yiadom popped up on the left-hand side, and an excellent strike from him, well dealt with by the keeper. 1-0 Birmingham.
Yeah, it's a first touch for me that sets this up. It's fantastic when it comes into him. He takes a touch across the defender on his chest, hits it, snapshot really quickly, and John Ruddy does ever so well. I know it's at his near post, but it's not from far out. It's struck with a lot of venom, and he had to get down quickly.
So Ince will have another corner for Reading, this time where the Tilton Road meets the main stand that we're sat in. Going to be a left-footed outswinger from the manager's son. Again, a couple of Reading players in the 6-yard box. Few making a run across the near post. One of them was Mbenge, but he couldn't get the connection on the header that he wanted, and the ball just drifts into those huge banners above the construction work of the Tilton Road end, and it's a goal kick to Birmingham City, who lead 1-0 on Talksport 2.
Yeah, and it's a good runner across the front. He's actually on his own, but the problem is it's almost he gets too much of a connection there. He almost just needs to glide that across his forehead and try and get it on target, but the connection's too good and just completely misses the target.
It was Mamadou Loom actually who had the effort on goal. I beg your pardon. Ruddy will clear his lines with the goal kick for Birmingham downfield, looking for Deeney, heads the ball infield, trying to find Chong, but Reading get it out. In fact, Loom was looking for Yeardon, but just headed it straight out of play for a Birmingham City throw. Down the far left-hand side, Manny Longello on loan from West Ham will take it. Looking for an option, Trusty's there behind him, but he goes further down the line looking for Deeney, but it's headed away by the Reading back line. Yeardon in the right wing back position, out by Mbenge, but his clearance only lands in the middle of the pitch, and Birmingham win it back. Neatly done in the middle of the park to find Collat on this near side the right. Bielik was the man that stroked it out to him. Goes back out to the left hand side from one wing back to the other. Lovely touch from Longello. Will he get it back from Hannibal? It was a poor touch from Hannibal, and Loom could knock it down for Mbenge to try and set Yeardon, Mate rather, clear down the right-hand side for Reading, but Birmingham win it back again, but only temporarily until Bielik sticks his right foot in to win it back for the home side. Then Janino Bakuna clips a lovely ball down the right wing that Chong is herring after. Backing up the defender as he gets to level with the edge of the area, then rolls it back 10 yards or so to Bakuna. Bielik knows he's got a player coming at him, so he gives it back to the number 7. Now Chong, again, roundabout level with the edge of the area, right-hand side, clips it into the box. Hannibal takes a touch, can't get it under control. Deeney tries to win it back, he's held out by Bielik. Deeney once more, right-hand corner of the box, crosses into the area, flicked away by Mbenge, and Joe Lumley can dash out to the right-hand corner of his own penalty area to claim it. Birmingham City 1, Reading 0, with 10 minutes gone on Talksport 2. Courtney Sweetman-Kirk.
I'm just wondering why Hannibal doesn't hit that first time. He's coming onto the ball perfectly. I think he's trying to take a touch past the defender and take the shot on. But for me, it was the perfect opportunity to hit that first time. But interesting, a bit of a to-do between Bielik and Shane Long. Keep an eye on that. They're going at each other. I think Bielik kicked out after Shane Long kicked him, and they were having a bit of a conversation. It'll be interesting to see that one develop.
Reading in possession on the halfway line. They trail by a goal to 0. A chance for Reading to go 5th tonight, remember, if they can get the 3 points ahead of Watford, who play tomorrow. There are a few postponed games already. Luton Millwall bit the dust this afternoon. That will not take place at Kenilworth Road tomorrow. Just keep it Talksport and Talksport 2, and you'll know about the games that are on tomorrow once we get to the full Saturday programme. Out to the right-hand side, and Yeardon looking for Shane Long, who's got the pace to get there before Trusty. Yeardon again down the right-hand side. Only Mate waiting for a cross at the moment for Reading. Good skill down the right-hand side from Yeardon. Gets to the byline, tried to pull it back, but he was dispossessed by Longello. Claims for a foul not given by Tim Robinson, and then just a long ball hit downfield by Hannibal. Lumley's come way out of his area and really puts his boot through it. Doesn't get it anywhere near the Birmingham goal at the other end. In fact, it drifts out nearer to the corner flag on this near side for a Birmingham goal kick. 12 gone, Birmingham 1, Reading 0.
Yeah, and Lumley there had to get that right. He'd come out a long way, almost halfway into his half, and does get a good connection on it, but thought Yeardon in that corner with the Reading attack does really well. He chops it back in, and to be honest, it's a terrible dive, and referee's got to be looking at that. He's looking for the connection. Longello doesn't touch him, nowhere near him.
No, poor effort. And Tim Robinson had nothing to do with it, the referee. Cleared downfield by John Ruddy, but a good header, tries to get Shane Long away. Roberts gets something on it and backheels it away inadvertently. The ball sent downfield, and Deeney trying to give chase, and it came out of him last of all. and Reading will have a throw. It's the start of your live football weekend here on Talksport 2. We've got a couple of championship games for you tomorrow. Burnley against Middlesbrough from noon, and then Norwich against Blackburn straight after that. You get 2 games in a row from the championship here on your home of the EFL, Talksport 2. Meantime on Talksport, from 2 o'clock on Saturday, Croatia against Morocco, the World Cup third place playoff, and the final of the World Cup, also 3 o'clock, that's Sunday afternoon on Talksport, Argentina against France. Reading have a throw, level with the Birmingham penalty area, left-hand side, sent in back into play by Rahman. Mate holding it up well, and it's rolled back to Naby Sarr, who, under pressure from Bakuna, has to go back to his goalkeeper Lumley.
Yeah, you see what Birmingham are doing. I think they're sitting in their shape extremely well. They're picking and choosing their moments to press, but the moment just sitting in the low block.
Here's Jeff Hendrick, once of Derby County, currently on loan from Newcastle at Reading. Ball sent into the area by Rahman, but it was cleared away by the thigh of Sanderson. Chong, with his flowing locks, clips the ball neatly in field for Bakuna. Bakuna riding the challenge of Rahman. Bielik protects it in the centre circle. Trusty finds Hannibal, and they're trying to switch it from right to left here, Birmingham City, and they do with Longello. Gives it back to Hannibal, but he elects to tuck it back to Trusty on halfway, and the counter-attack has broken down. Maxime Collin gets up to the halfway line, and he elects to go back into his own half for Mark Roberts this time.
Do you think Reading are playing a bit of a dangerous game at times? They're happy to leave themselves 3v2 against Deeney and Chong. There's a couple of times now that Chong's got free, and on the counter-attack, Birmingham look really strong.
Well, this time a misplaced pass from Collin bounces well away from Chong and through to Joe Lumley. Reading did the double over Birmingham last season, 2-1 wins. Jamari and Clark were the goal scorers here for the Royals here in November of last year. Season before that, it was Birmingham doing the double over Reading. Lukas Jutkovic amongst the scorers here at St Andrews. He's on the bench tonight. Harley Dean also scored. He's back in favour at the club, but still coming back from an injury. He's not amongst the substitutes. Here is Hannibal, protecting the ball just inside the Reading half. Has to go back to the halfway line to get away from the attentions of Mate. And there goes back to Trusty. Longello on the far left-hand side of the field, 10 yards inside the Reading half. Tried to flick it in field for his captain Deeney, but it's intercepted. And away goes Mamadou Loum down the right-hand side, gets to the halfway line and checks back in field. Reading trying to get a foothold in this game. We played a quarter of an hour on Talksport 2. It's 1-0 to Birmingham, a lead that they took with a minute on the clock through Troy Deeney from Juninho Bakuna's clipped cross from the right-hand side. Suspicion of offside at first, but the replays we've seen appear to suggest that it was a perfectly legitimate goal. Here's Mark Roberts, fed the ball by his keeper Ruddy, and Birmingham give the ball away at the edge of their own penalty area, almost giving away a chance for Reading to get a shot on goal, but the ball just ricochets gratefully into the path of Manny Longello, and he eventually clears downfield. But that's encouragement for Reading, even though they're a goal down.
Yeah, it is, and it's poor from Ruddy initially. I think the pass out isn't good enough, but Longello is making sure that he's concentrated, he's on his front foot, ready to look at the mistake and ends up getting rid. But I think Reading now, the game is calming down in his first 15 minutes, been ever so frantic, but they're managing to get, I wouldn't say a foothold in the game, because I still think Birmingham are the better side, but a bit more possession on the ball, Reading.
Hannibal trying to release Juninho Bakuna down the right-hand side. Ball hit well over the top, but it's dealt with by McIntyre. Can guide it back to his keeper, but Lumley's clearance this time goes straight out of play to the near side, our side, the main stand. Here is St Andrews for a Birmingham throw, 1-0.
And that's probably the third time that Birmingham have forced an error, whether it be from Lumley or the Reading back line, because when they decide to go, it's not all the time, but when they decide to go, they press with so much aggression. They shut down the space, and as I say, that's probably the third or fourth mistake now.
Birmingham City 1, Reading 0. If you're just tuning into Talksport 2 on this Friday evening at St Andrews, Birmingham in possession with Austin Trusty. Finds Manny Longello, but that's a good interception by Yiadom. And he gets the ball back from Mamadou Loum. Looking to release Yakou Mate down the right-hand side, but Trusty with a calm header down. Bielik gets in front of Mate, and Trusty will clip the ball first time up to the halfway line, but it's drifted out to play at that far side for a throw to the Royals. And Benge finds Tom McIntyre. And out to this near touchline it goes on the halfway line, and Rahman plays a good one too with Jeff Hendrick and moves into the Birmingham half. Tries to release Mate, who's going to get to it down the left-hand side of the box. Sanderson trying to hold him up. Hendrick's there too. Giving back to Jeff Hendrick. Right wing ball into the near post. Cleared away by the knee of Maxime Collin. And then Bakuna got in just ahead of Hendrick. Ball's headed back by McIntyre into the box. Mate with the drive. Brilliant save, but he was straight at Ruddy, but he had to hold on to it, and hold on to it he did, as Reading suddenly were presented with a gilt-edged chance to equalise.
Yeah, and it's out of nowhere really, but Mate, I think he does ever so well when the ball comes in. It's over his shoulder. It's a really difficult skill, coming over his shoulder, hitting that with his left foot on the volley. But he can only find Ruddy. He struck it really, really well, but straight at Ruddy, and he manages to hold it.
McIntyre cleared in the nick of time as Chong was closing him down at the edge of the Reading penalty area. Goes out of play for a Birmingham throw on the left-hand side. 1-0 Birmingham City lead, with 18 minutes, nearly 19 minutes gone on Talksport 2 here at St Andrews on this Friday evening. Maxime Collin just shy of the halfway line, the Birmingham right wing-back. Steps away for a moment from Mate, but Mate's won it back. Good strength again, but then he looked to find Shane Long, only to see Dion Sanderson read the pass. Hannibal steps in front of Yeardom and picks out Longillo, left-hand side. Ball into the box, misses out Chong. In fact, it went behind everybody in the blue shirt, and Reading can clear. Yeah,
it did, and that's some of it is to do with the ball, but all three Birmingham players on the same line there. One's got to be backing up the box.
Given away by Shane Long this time before Reading can get to the halfway line, and Hannibal Meshbury has it back. Spinning and pirouetting and looking for a pass. Finds it to Collin. Nicks it infield to Bakuna, just over the halfway line. Bielik at the edge of the centre circle will send it backwards and square to the left, and Trusty, he'll play a little quick 1-2 with Longillo on the halfway line. Patient in possession, Birmingham, and then slightly more progressive pass from Roberts to find Bakuna, and he clips a lovely ball out to the right wing for Collin, who can stride down the right-hand side, gets toward the byline, pulls it to the far post, over everybody's head. Longillo should keep it in play on the far side, and does. He's got the attentions of Yeardom, so he rolls it back to Trusty. Bielik knows he's got Mate breathing down his neck, so he gives it back to halfway, and Roberts. 1-0 Birmingham lead still.
I think that's the wrong decision from Collin. I think he can put that ball in early. Troy Deeney at the back stick on his own.
Diagonal ball from Bakuna this time into the Reading box. Deeney was a bit ponderous in trying to get to the loose ball, and he was dispossessed at first by Mbenge, but he's rolled the ball into the area. Chong gives it back to Deeney. Deeney goes down. Penalty. Birmingham City have a penalty as Deeney tried to play a 1-2 with Chong. The challenge came in, I think, from Mbenge, and Birmingham City have a penalty kick with 20 minutes gone at St Andrews.
It looks like a stonewall penalty to me, Dance. It's great little play initially. As you say, Troy Deeney looked ponderous trying to win the ball back, but gets there eventually. Then he finds his attacking partner, Chong. Lovely little back heel by him as well. You can see the relationship that they're obviously building, and then Troy Deeney, I don't know.
Naby Sarr with the challenge in the end.
No idea what Sarr's doing, but Troy Deeney's clever here, to be honest. He plays the ball back, he probably knows the challenge is coming, but as soon as you go to ground like that, in the penalty box, you're in trouble, and it's as much as a penalty as you'll ever see.
So Troy Deeney, who scored the opening goal in the first minute of the game, now has a chance to double Birmingham's advantage as we reach the midway point of the first half. Referee Robinson making sure everyone's at the edge of the area, not encroaching. He's already had a word with the goalkeeper. Lots of referees doing that now with the goalkeepers before penalties are taken, reminding them of their responsibilities to keep at least 1 foot on the line when the ball is struck. Deeney waiting just inside the penalty area to take this penalty kick to try and give Birmingham City a 2-0 lead. Away to our right at the railway end. The whistle goes. Deeney just waiting to make sure that no one's encroaching. Steps up right-footed and blasts it into the back of the net. Emphatic finish from Troy Deeney. Moves on to 5 for the season, 2 on the night, and Birmingham City lead Reading by 2-0.
What a penalty that is, by the way. He wins it and then dispatches it expertly. Had a lot of time to think about this. There was a bit of to do. I think it was Baba Rahman and Bakuna having a bit of a scrap on the edge of the penalty area. But yeah, he opens his body out so well, strikes it into that bottom right-hand corner as we're looking at the goal, and even if Lumsley goes the right way, there is no way in this world that he is saving that, because it's hit with so much venom.
I've seen players hit penalties down here. We had Julian Dix for a time who could strike a penalty with a fair amount of welly behind it. That wasn't far off from Troy Deeney. His second of the night. He's on a hat-trick now, the Birmingham captain. He's lost his armband for a minute. He's just doing a few running repairs. As we're back underway on Talksport 2. 23 minutes gone, and Reading have it all to do here in the city of Birmingham. Back it goes to Lumley. Ball's rolled back to him by Sarr. He clears just ahead of Tahith Chong, who was trying to close him down. And Mark Roberts wins the ball back, and Deeney is fouled by Sarr again, this time just ahead of the centre circle, and Birmingham have another free kick. 2-0 they lead. Yeah, it goes through the back of him, and you've got to think there's a potentially, could have given me a yellow card in terms of the accumulation for that foul going through the back of Deeney, for the one that, for the penalty as well. But the big thing for me is Birmingham are definitely better in terms of the second ball, the second phase of the play. They're always first to the ball. Reading just look half a step behind. That's Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, the Sheffield United women's striker, alongside me, Ian Dantle, tonight at St Andrews, where we played 24 minutes. Birmingham City 2, Reading 0. Troy Deeney with both. One from open play, one from the penalty spot that's just gone in. Penny for Paul Ince's thoughts right now, as he tries to find a way back into this time. Remember, they'd won their last two against Hull City and Coventry. They'd lost their previous two, though, to Preston North End and Watford. Two teams who, in fairness, looking at Preston last Saturday at Blackburn, are banging form right now. Oh, yeah, they're excellent. Under Ryan Lowe. Now, here's Yiadom on the right-hand side for Reading. Puts the ball into the box. Sanderson heads it clear. Mate went to ground. A few claims for a penalty from the Reading fans at the far end. Nothing given. Birmingham trying to counter-attack. That's good defending by Mbenge just inside the Birmingham half to stop Hannibal launching a counter-attack. Now Tom Ince has a chance to work his way in field, 30 yards out. Hendrick into the edge of the area. Mate tries to turn and get the shot away, and Sanderson then hits the ball against Mate, and it just ricochets behind into the advertising hoardings for a Birmingham City goal kick. 25 gone, Birmingham 2, Reading 0. Yeah, for me, Reading are just feeding off scraps at the moment. I think Birmingham with definitely the more possession, but actually looking more clinical, especially in the final third. I feel like Reading, they're just missing that final pass at the moment. Every time they seem to win the ball back, the next pass is a stray pass. There's a lack of composure. This is the thing that used to drive my dad crazy when he used to come watch football with me. There's a goal kick about to be taken, and all the players are within 10 yards of each other as Ruddy strikes the kick downfield. Hannibal wins it and goes out to the left-hand side for Emmanuel Longello. Hannibal again, lovely flick in field to find Bielik, and Bielik releases Longello down the left-hand side. Good build-up from Birmingham. Ball clips into the area. McIntyre does a good job of heading it clear and keeping it away from Bakuna, and up it goes to halfway. Mate held it up well, ran into Collin, then he's challenged by Bielik. Challenge is flying in on both sides, and Reading come away with it, and Shane Long looking to hold it up down the left-hand side, but runs into Collin, and it goes out of play for a throw-in down this near side to Reading. 2-0 Birmingham. That was fairly full-blooded, all that. It was, but in terms of, I think Birmingham have definitely been more aggressive of the sides today, especially in their defending. They've been excellent, but I think now Reading, I don't know whether it's a bit of frustration as well creeping in, but yeah, full-blooded challenges on a Friday night is what we'd love to see under the lights. And in these temperatures, because as they say around these parts, it's taters. Birmingham 2, Reading 0. You never heard that one? Every day's a school day. There you go. Naby Sarr in possession on the halfway line for Reading. Good ball, slid through to Jeff Hendrick. Rise to challenge of Roberts. Up to the edge of the area. It's laid back to him by Shane Long, and across comes Sanderson. Good run from Jeff Hendrick, and he's earned Reading a throw down by the corner flag. Yeah, there's been a couple of times where Reading have played nice 1-2 touch football and tried to play with triangles, but they're just being unstuck by the fact that Birmingham are in such a good defensive shape, picking and choosing their moments, and then when they go and make the challenge, make it really aggressive. Reading attacking the Tilton end in this first half on Talksport 2, but 2 goals down, and the ball's out of play for another throw that Rahman will take. Still on Chelsea's books, unbelievably. I don't know how that's happened. Made most of his appearances for Chelsea about 5 or 6 years ago, been out on loan ever since, and still a Chelsea player. Yeah, Chelsea, interesting structure, don't they, in terms of loaning players out. As listeners from Talksport join us at St Andrews on this Friday evening, Birmingham City 2, Reading 0, 27 minutes gone, but it only took Birmingham 1 minute to hit the front through Troy Deeney after Janina Bakuna clipped a left-footed ball into the area from Birmingham's right. Deeney stayed onside, took the ball down on his chest with his back to goal, swivelled and thumped it home past Joe Lumley, and he thumped the penalty past Joe Lumley midway through the half, after Deeney was himself brought down by Naby Sarr in the box, playing a 1-2 with Tahith Chong. And Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, the current, should I say, former.
You're retiring me already.
The Sheffield United women's striker alongside me. Is it the right result and the right scoreline as things stand?
Yeah, without a doubt. I think Birmingham have been fantastic. We were saying before the game it's probably going to be one way or the other, quite open or really cagey, but it's been open in terms of it's been frantic, but Birmingham have made it like that. They've been so aggressive in their forward pressing. They've got in the box really well, counter-attacked.
Longello with the ball into the box this time, headed away by Sarr. Deeney was just behind him. One back by Yaku Mate, but he runs into Hannibal, and the free kick's given to Reading. What have Reading got to do? What are Reading doing wrong at the moment, Courtney?
I think they're sort of overawed by the way that Birmingham are playing. The fact that, as I say, they're so aggressive in the press, and there's a lack of composure on the ball, Reading. So when they get into the final third, which has been few and far between so far, they've just got to be a bit cooler and make the right decisions. But so far, they've been undone by a very good Birmingham side. Reading
have had two good efforts on goal, both well saved by John Ruddy, one from Yeardom, one from Mate, but it's the goals from Deeney at the other end that count. Midway through the first half, and commentary continues on Talksport 2, on the app and online and via DAB. It is currently Birmingham City 2, Reading 0. The ball stays in play on the far side of the field. Does it? No, Birmingham have a throw. Yeardom just couldn't keep it in, so Longello will have the throw. Substitutes warming up, but they're happy of that. A chance to warm up on a night like this. They won't mind the extra exercises they're being forced to be put through.
No, normally you don't want to go and you'd rather sit there, but I think tonight they'll be wanting to definitely try and keep those toes warm.
Yeah, but you're not normally a substitute, are you?
No, I've not done this. I'm not, thankfully. It's not a bit of me.
Courtney Sweetman-Kirk alongside me, Ian Dancer here at St Andrews. Birmingham 2-0 up as we approach the half hour. In fact, we've hit the half hour mark now. Maxime Collin down this near side, the Birmingham right, has Bakuna making a run beyond him towards the dead ball line, faced up by Hendrick, and also Rahman trying to play the ball through the legs of Hendrick. Collin tried to pick it up, but that was good defending by Rahman. Place it up to halfway, but that's nowhere near Shane Long. Roberts was nearly dispossessed by Shane Long, and in fact he's conceded a free kick, Mark Roberts, against Long, who's been in the wars a bit in this first half, having come into the Reading side tonight, and he's hobbling away, having won another free kick for his team.
Yeah, he has, Shane Long, but I think he's always sort of in the wars. He's always buzzing around defenders, making it difficult, making a nuisance of himself in the best possible way, and you see there, he gets on the blind side of Mark Roberts, and he does take a whack to the ankle.
He's not scored since August, Shane Long. That was against Cardiff City in the early weeks of the Championship season, but here we are pretty much at the halfway point of the season, and Reading find themselves 2 goals down to this Birmingham side that were desperate to get all 3 points at Blackpool for the restart last weekend. Had their chances. Tahith Chong hit the post. Mark Roberts skied an effort from right in front of goal, but Blackpool earned the point. But it is just 1 defeat in 6 for Birmingham going into tonight's game, and they have this 2-0 advantage. Ball bounces inside the Birmingham half. Roberts goes up with Mate. Good header from Mate to flick it on, but nobody in Reading Peach behind him, and so Birmingham have it back with Bakuna. Just lobs it over the head of Rahman, and then Deeney trying to take it away. Plays of handball against Loom. Held up really well by Mate once again for Reading. He's good at that, just inside the Birmingham half, giving the teammates for Reading a chance to join up with him, and then Jeff Hendrick passing to the invisible man out on the right wing, and it's gone out of play for a Birmingham City goal kick. Birmingham 2, Reading 0 with 13 to half time.
And that passage of play probably sums up Reading so far in terms of Mate working hard, is holding up the ball, drops the ball off to Hendrick, and then that final pass when you need a bit of composure. As you say, the ball was awful. It was to absolutely no one. We had a player out to his left 5 yards. Sometimes you've just got to do the basics, make the easy pass, especially when you're losing and it's frantic. You need to go back to basics.
Talksport 2, your home of the EFL, with 2 more Championship commentaries to come tomorrow. From noon, we'll bring you Burnley against Middlesbrough. 2 sides in very good form. Michael Carrick has made an excellent start as the new Borough boss, and Vincent Kompany's had an excellent season throughout. And then we'll bring you Norwich Blackburn as well. Now, ball's at the edge of the Birmingham area with Jeff Hendrick. Just couldn't see a teammate. Birmingham bring it clear, and a lovely flick from Deeney. Tries to set Bakuna away. A back heel intended for Chong, but Chong hadn't read it. Or was it not a good back heel from Bakuna?
No, he's got his hands up, Chong. He hadn't quite read it. It was clever from Bakuna. He was trying to take the defender one way, stops the ball, but Chong was already running past her, trying to offer support in front rather than behind, but it was the right idea.
McIntyre in possession for Reading. Clips the ball down the inside left channel, again looking for Hendrick. It's cleared away by Sanderson. Tidied up by Bielik, he's clipped this time by Shane Long, and it'll be a free kick to Birmingham City just ahead of their own penalty area. John Ruddy looks to be taking it. Very popular figure, John Ruddy, since coming into the club. A 1-year deal after 5 seasons at Wolverhampton Wanderers. Only made 5 first-team apps for the Wolves in his last 4 campaigns at the club, so he'd be grateful of this regular football that he's got in the Birmingham goal, ahead of Neil Etheridge.
Yeah, exactly. It's a hard life being a goalkeeper as well. If you're not the number one, you're constantly playing understudy, but you know, when he's been given the opportunity, John Ruddy has performed extremely well as the Birmingham number one.
And Bengay, who scored his first professional goal in the win against Coventry last Saturday for Reading, finds Sarr. Now McIntyre gets up toward the halfway line, just down beneath our commentary position, under pressure from Bakuna, who had a bit too much of a nibble at McIntyre, so Reading have a free kick, taken quickly by McIntyre backwards to square to Sarr. And Bengay again. Arrived on a free transfer, and Bengay from the French side Metz in June, tried to slide in Yiadom down the right hand side. It was won back by Hannibal, but he couldn't find Christian Bielik. And now Hendrick looks to the right hand side of the area. Ince picks it up, cross from Yiadom. Mate gets the drive away, it's blocked by Trusty, and then the shot comes in from Ince, hit the post I think, with Ruddy flying to his left hand side. It stays out, and Birmingham survive.
Yeah, just about. It's probably Reading's best passage of play. Struck really well in the end in the second ball by Tom Ince, and as you say, Ruddy, he was definitely knowing that was goal bound. He was scrambling, but I think it comes back off the post and comes to the save of John Ruddy.
Well, Tom Ince, he was playing here for Blackpool 10 years ago when they beat Birmingham in the playoff semi-finals in the Championship, and he got into the area. The ball was pulled back by Yiadom, it was cleared out, and it did hit the post, didn't it? He struck it fiercely, Tom Ince, on the half volley. Lovely hit. Oh no, it was saved by Ruddy.
It was a save. It looked like it hit the post.
Here's Chong inside the area meantime, makes it 3! The flag stays down, and Tahi Chong adds to Reading's woes, and Birmingham are 3 up before half-time, and Tahi Chong has his first of the season for Birmingham City, rounding the keeper. Reading went to sleep at the back. It's Birmingham 3, Reading 0.
Wow, and that's football in a nutshell. Tom Ince at one end, probably 20 seconds earlier, 30 seconds earlier, goes so close, draws a fantastic save from John Ruddy, then got the other end. Troy Deeney has got the lads, the Birmingham lads, in a huddle now. 3-0 up, is telling them keep your heads, the mentality, they want to keep going, but it's a quick free kick.
Yeah, there was that free kick that was won, it was just played over the top, and the 3 Reading centre half stood still.
It's fall to sleep. I don't know whether they're trying to play the offside. I think one's...
it goes through Mbenge. He tried to get a touch.
And I think he was actually tying his laces, Mbenge, and that's why he gets up so quickly, misses the ball, but from there, look, there's still a lot to do by Chong. He's quite wide, he's got around the keeper and still find the goal, but he's calm and composed, and 3-0 Birmingham.
Tahi Chong scored 1 in his loan spell here last year from Manchester United, now a permanent player at Birmingham City, now has his first of the season this campaign, and it's all going John Eustace and Birmingham City's way here on Talksport 2 this Friday night. We've got 37 minutes gone, and Reading don't know what's hit them.
No, they don't, but it's full credit to Birmingham. Yes, you know, that last goal slightly fortuitous in the way that it happened, but they've been brilliant going forward. They've been clinical, not had too many chances, but look, when they've been given the opportunity, they've finished them, and that's what you want of your team, and especially your forwards.
Ball headed into the area, might drop for Ince, and a vital clearance from Trusty to keep it out of the reach of Tom Ince, but Reading still have it. Down the left-hand side with McIntyre. Sweeps the ball into the box, headed away by Roberts this time for Birmingham. Picked up by Loom, runs into Deeney, still has it Loom, tries to get the strike away. Deeney blocks it up in the air, and then Longella prevents the corner and hooks it out of play for a throw-in on the far side of the field. 3-0 to Birmingham.
And I think that just says it all in terms of Birmingham's performance. Troy Deeney, 2 goals, they're 3-0 up. He's busting a gut to get back and make a vital block on the edge of his own box, and Birmingham are working so hard.
Edging towards the last 6 minutes of this first period on your home of the EFL. Talksport 2, Birmingham City 3, Reading 0. 2 for Deeney, 1 for Chong. Sarr for Reading, gets over the halfway line, looks to play a slidewall pass into the feet of Hendrick, out to the left hand side and Rahman, almost level with the edge of the area, swirls a left-footed cross in, Sanderson heads it clear, Chong knocks it down for Bakuna, and Bakuna tries to release Deeney over the halfway line, but he's nowhere near as quick as Mbenge.
Yeah, maybe
just
Troy Deeney a few years ago, but it's a fantastic passage of play again.
I could almost see a smirk on the face of John Eustace as he walked back to the dugout. Of course, he used to be Deeney's roommate, and they used to drive to training together. They know each other inside out, and I thought I detected a smirk on his face as he saw Deeney try and keep pace.
When you're 3-0 up, you can find the funny side, I'm sure.
Sanderson trying to win the ball back from Mate, who's doing really gamely as he lies on the floor, the Reading number 11, and then he's fouled by Bielik. And of all the players out there for Reading, it's Yaku Mate who has not given this up despite being 3-0 down. He's fighting for everything.
Yeah, definitely not. He's trying to make things happen. He's done so well in his hold-up play, but unfortunately when he has dropped it off to a teammate, they're the ones that have then let him down. They've not found the right pass so he can spin back in behind, and it's been unfortunate for him because he's definitely been the standout player in this Reading side.
And he's had one of the efforts that John Reddy held on to, yeared on with another that was tipped round the post for a corner kick which came to nothing. What can Reading do from this free kick then? It's Tom Ince over it, midway point of the Birmingham half to the left of centre, so left-footed ball clipped up to the far post. Sarr goes up for the header, it's headed out to Hendrick, trying to volley it towards goal, headed away by Bielik, brought down by Hannibal, trying to feed it out to the right-hand side of Bakuna. Trusty heads it down for Hannibal once more, and he nods it down into the path of Longella. Longella has won a throw. Often Bengo's put it out of play into those banners on the lower tier of the cop stand opposite us for a Birmingham throw. 5 minutes to half-time on Talksport 2. Birmingham City 3, Reading 0.
And Reading will just be hoping that now it stays 3-0. They don't want to go in 4-0, and we're just... You look at the stats in terms of Birmingham, they've only had 4 shots, but 3 of them are on target, and that's the important thing. When you're given your chance in the final third, you've got to be clinical, and Reading have had to have more shots, a little bit more possession. They've had the same amount of shots on target, but Birmingham, for me, stats can only tell one side of the story. Birmingham, for me, have been by far the better side.
Well, Mate again working incredibly hard for Reading. He's just won a free kick as Sanderson has brought him down. This one's a little bit closer to the Birmingham penalty area, about maybe 30 yards out, and again to the left of centre. Ince is spotting the ball down once more. Centre halves have gone to the back post. It's just a one-man wall at the moment for Birmingham as Tim Robinson paces out the yardage, and it's Hannibal that's standing solitary behind that vanishing spray. Ince standing over the free kick. 3-0 to Birmingham. Closing stages of the first half. Ince centred into the box. Flicks to the far post. Headed away by Longella. But Hendrick will get there first for Reading at the right-hand corner of the box. Works it back in field to Yeardon. Yeardon finds Rahman in a bit of space 30 yards out. Clips it further out to the left wing for Tom Ince. Ince tries to wrap his foot round it. Deep cross to the far post. Sarr trying to get the header back across goal. Comes out to the left-hand side, and Hannibal keeps it away from one Reading player, just lobs it downfield, and he's giving chase, but Yeardon will get there. Mbenge rather will get there first, but at the expense of the Birmingham throw as they clear their lines as we edge towards half-time on Talksport 2. 3-0.
Yeah, and you know what? Some players would have left that ball and just sort of given it back to Reading possession, but Hannibal chasing it down there, trying to get to the ball, and then by doing that forces I wouldn't say an error, but forces the Reading defender there to put the ball out and gets his team back possession.
Mbenge hooks the ball over his head for Reading, back towards the midway point of his own half. Bielik can't win the header. Long can up to the halfway line, and Mate again scrapping for everything and riding challenges. He's won another free kick. This time Bielik's brought him down, and I think Bielik's going to be spoken to by referee Robinson, if not get a yellow card. And indeed it is a yellow card for the man on loan from Derby County, as Yaku Meite's in the wars once again.
He is, and it was an accumulation. You see the referee there, Tim Robinson, is pointing across the pitch, probably pointing out that, you know, the 3 or so fouls that he's made already, talking about accumulation. But again, Meite does ever so well here. There's 3 Birmingham players around him, and he's so industrious, but it's sort of counting for nothing at the moment because Reading can't profit from it.
Another free kick for Reading, nearer to the halfway line this time, but Ince once again is standing over it. Birmingham holding their line at the edge of the D at the Tilton Road end. In it comes from Ince to the far post. Sarr went up, but an important header from Sanderson. Got it half clear, kept in play on this near touchline by Hendrick. Rolls it back to the halfway line on Rahman. He keeps it away from Chong and finds Ince. Ince gets his head up, tries to play it down the centre of the field. It's intercepted by Longello. Bielik back for Trusty, first time ball up to halfway, headed back towards the Birmingham area by Mbenge, and now Mamadou Loom finds Tom Ince inside right channel, keeps it away from Hannibal, still drifting down that right hand side. Ince, Loom tries to put the ball in and straight into the midriff of Hannibal, who's gone down flat on his back. I don't know whether he caught that lower than the midriff, but he stayed down. He better count him.
Either way, it was point blank. That's got to hurt, especially on a night like this. It'll have taken the wind out of him either way.
That's Courtney Sweetman-Kirk alongside me, Ian Danter here at St Andrews. Dan Windles here too. We're approaching stoppage time at the end of this first half on your home of the EFL. If you're just tuning in, Birmingham City lead Reading by 3-0. 2 for Troy Deeney, 1 for Tahir Chong. Ball clipped into the Birmingham box, but comfortable claim for John Ruddy. That one went nowhere near Yaku Meite.
Baba Rahman as well was making a really good run on right on the outside left channel, but couldn't find him either.
Lucas Zhao and Andy Carroll lie in wait. I wonder how tempting that is for Paul Ince to bring both on at the start of the second half to try and eat into this 3-0 deficit. 2 minutes of minimum stoppage time that we're into now as Deeney goes down, fouled by Loom, and it'll be a free kick to the hosts just ahead of the centre circle inside the Reading half.
Yeah, and talking about those changes, I mean, Paul Ince really at half-time, he's got to do something, isn't he? And I don't think he'll be, you know, impressed by the Reading performance. I don't think there was that shot from Tom Ince really, but in terms of their overall play, yes, there's been a couple of opportunities where they've, I think, got in the final third and got a shot off more in luck by judgment. I think actually their overall play and on the ball they've been really poor.
Talksport 2 on a Friday night. Don't forget the return of the Premier League on Boxing Day. All 10 fixtures from Boxing Day through to the 28th are exclusive to the Talksport network as the Premier League restarts after the World Cup final. Free kick for Birmingham, swung in by Bakuna to the far right hand side of the box. Roberts won the initial header, wins the second ball, and it's volleyed away by Loom and out for a throw-in on this near side. Roberts won the first header, didn't know much about where the ball had dropped, but still got to the second ball.
No, and that is what Birmingham have done so well tonight. They've been that constantly that step ahead of Reading. You know, they've competed for the first ball. If they've not got that, they've 9 times out of 10 come out with the second ball. They've just been absolutely fantastic in their work rate.
Throw for Birmingham for Maxime Collin, level with the edge of the Reading penalty area, clips it into Bakuna, rolls his foot on the ball Bergkamp style and keeps it away from the challenge of Rahman. Now Hannibal looking to find Bakuna, who shows great strength on this near touchline, plays the ball in left-footed, looking for Longello at the far post. Ince was there, tried to hook it clear, but skied the clearance somewhat. The ball bounces to shy the halfway line. Bielik wins the header, and the referee brings the first half to a close, and delight around St Andrews as the Birmingham players troop off 3-0 to the good, and they were ahead as early as minute 1 when Troy Deeney onside latched onto a clip pass by Juninho Bakuna to steady himself with his back to goal, swivel and smack it past Joe Lunley. He then smacked a penalty past the Reading goalkeeper midway through the half after he was brought down by Naby Sarr, and then Tahir Chong scored his first Birmingham goal of the season after a quick free kick caught out the Reading back three, and Mbenge in particular and Tahi Chong rounded Joe Lumley from a tight angle, slotted it home. But that's not to say Reading have not had their chances. Ruddy has made 3 important saves to deny Yiadom, Mate and Ince in this first period. So there'll be Birmingham fans around this stadium, and I know a few will be saying this isn't one yet. Half-time at St Andrews, Birmingham City 3, Reading 0. Well, no changes for Reading. I did wonder whether Paul Ince might be tempted to make a couple of switches at the break, but he's sticking with the same outfield players that he had for the first period. Similarly, Birmingham will be unchanged, so I'll quickly run you through the lineups before we get back underway. Reading will restart us. They'll be heading towards the Gilmerick stand away to our right, the railway end as it used to be known, which is where the Reading fans are. For Birmingham, Ruddy in goal, Sanderson, Robertson, Trusty as a back 3, Collard, Hannibal, Bielik, Bacuna and Longello across midfield, Deeney and Chong, who've got the 3 goals between them up front. For Reading, Lumley the keeper, McIntyre, Sarr and Mbenge the back 3, Yiadom, Ince, Hendrick, Loom and Rahman across midfield, Long and Mate up front. And Reading get us back underway at St Andrews in their peach away strip with black shorts and socks. Birmingham in the royal blue shirts and shorts with white socks, and Birmingham will be attacking the Tilton Road end to our left as they like to do in the second half of home fixtures. And straight away, Yaku Mate, in the same pattern as he was in the first half, wrestling for possession, gets brought down and wins a free kick for Reading.
Yeah, and it's probably, we've got a long way to go in this half, and I know you're sceptical, Dance, but if Reading are to be on the losing side tonight, it's such a shame for Mate, because he had a really good first half. He's done absolutely everything he can, and he's just not getting the service from his teammates around him.
Well, this free kick is down the right-hand side of Birmingham's penalty area, not too far from the dead ball line, probably about 8 or 9 yards from the dead ball line, down the right-hand side of the box. Tom Ince is going to swing it in left-footed. Nobody at the near post yet for Reading. Birmingham trying to hold their line at the edge of the 6-yard box, trying to keep some space between them and John Ruddy. Referee Robinson just looking at some pushing and shoving around that 6-yard box. Blows his whistle, and Ince can take this free kick for Reading into the near post and headed out by Longello for a corner kick. Reading's third of the game. They tried to get a flick on from Shane Long at the near post, but it was just too tall for him.
Yeah, it was not a bad ball actually. It swung in with a lot of pace in the in-swinger, and Longello probably doesn't get the connection on that ball that he wanted back out for the corner.
Ince again with the corner where the main stand, the old main stand that we're sat in, meets the railway end. It's Roberts that heads it half clear, might drop in the box for Rahman, and it's blocked behind for another corner. Reading are having no luck in front of goal so far tonight, but they have won another corner as the ball deflected wide off a blue boot.
No, that could have gone absolutely anywhere, but this is what Paul Ince will want from his side, a really good start to this second half, see if they can get an early goal.
Ince again with the corner, deep to the far post, Ruddy with a comfortable claim inside his 6-yard box, and he will hope that that's the danger past for the home side for the moment, as he looks to either clear from hands. In fact, he bowls it out underarm to this near side, and Manny Longello, who's immediately closed down by Shane Long. So Trusty, on loan from Arsenal, gives the ball back to his keeper. Right-footed clearance, the ball was trickling towards the goal line. You always wonder whether the ball's going to take a bobble and cause the goalkeeper a problem in those instances, but Birmingham have managed to find Longello on this near side, just shy of the halfway line. Drives the ball downfield. Chong takes it on his chest, moves into the area. The shot is blocked, comes out to Deeney on a hat-trick, blocks on the line brilliantly by McIntyre. Hannibal now down the left-hand side of the box, trying to find room. Gives it back to Bacuna, left-hand corner of the box. Bacuna runs into Yiadom, who gets it half clear, and finally McIntyre completes the clearance, having cleared brilliantly off the line to deny Troy Deeney a hat-trick and Birmingham's fourth.
He does ever so well there, McIntyre, watches it all the way, thinks about, as a defender as you should, worst case scenario, covering his goalkeeper, but it's a fantastic ball into Chong. He takes it down so well, and then you just see the angle's probably a little bit against him. I'm thinking, can he dip it over the keeper? He doesn't. Lumley makes a good save, then it falls to Troy Deeney, who strikes it well. He takes a touch to steady himself, but McIntyre in the right place at the right time.
Stays Birmingham 3, Reading 0 in the early stages of the second half here at St Andrews. Reading win a throw down this near touchline. Yiadom looks to get Mate away, but the throw is intercepted by Longello, but it will be another Reading throw, this time level with the Birmingham box. On this near side, the Reading right, Ince receives the throw from Yiadom. And we'll give the ball back to Mbenge. Infield for Loom. Further across to McIntyre. Now on the left-hand side, Baba Rahman. Back from McIntyre once more. Sarr pointing where he wants the ball as he actually receives it. Mbenge on the halfway line. Gives it back to Naby Sarr, being closed down by Deeney. But he cuts out Deeney well and finds McIntyre, who clips a diagonal ball out to this near side to find Andy Yeardon. Comes in field, wriggles away from the challenge of Longello. Good ball out to the left-hand side for Rahman. McIntyre makes an underlapping run from centre-half. Deep cross for Shane Longer. Heads it up in the air. Trusty gets it half clear. Hannibal nods it down. And Longello will complete the clearance. Birmingham 3, Reading 0.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised in terms of the start that Reading have had to this second half. They have to come out, and Birmingham will have been expecting this. The issue is, we've seen it there with the counter-attack with Birmingham. The more they go forward, the more gaps they're going to leave, but they've got to take chances.
Definite foul by Chong on Ince there, and this will give Reading a chance for a free kick in a decent position just to the right of centre, about 25-27 yards out. Tom Ince will fancy a crack at this, left-footed.
Yeah, he definitely will, but this is when Birmingham, this first 5-10 minutes, they've got to manage the game. They'll have said in the changing rooms they'll be expecting Reading to come out so aggressive as they have. But I think if you can manage the first 10-15 minutes, make sure you don't concede, then they can play their way back into the game, but they've just got to soak up this pressure for now.
The ball is being set about 2 or 3 yards inside the Birmingham penalty area to our right of the Gilmerick stand end. Ince is the only man standing over the ball for Reading. It's a 3-man Birmingham wall. Ruddy standing just in front of his goal line. The rest of the defenders about level with a penalty spot. Referee blows his whistle. Ince steps up left-footed round the wall, and Ruddy can let it go over the bar, and it will be a goal kick to Birmingham City. 5 minutes gone in the second half on your home of the EFL. Talksport 2, Birmingham City 3, Reading 0. Yeah,
that was never going to trouble John Ruddy there. He sees it all the way and watches it over, but you can't blame Tom Ince from that position. It's very much suited to the left footer. We know he's got great ability from dead balls, but Reading have just got to keep going in the same vein, and in this first 6 minutes of this second half they've shown more intent than they did in the whole of the first half.
But still they remain 3-0 down, and goals have been hard to come by on the road for Reading this season. Only 8 on their travels, and only Blackburn have scored less in away fixtures in the Championship this season. Free kick to Birmingham City, a bit too much strength being showed by the Reading midfield to try and win the ball back with a sliding challenge on the deck. I think it was Shane Long who was the aggressor, and Birmingham will have themselves a free kick. Home wins against QPR, Talksport 2 we're here for that. Bristol City and Huddersfield were the other wins that Birmingham had so far in front of their own. 5 draws, and Reading have won 3 times but lost 7 so far, and only 1 draw. It's feast or famine for Paul Ince and the Royals away from the Select Car Leasing Stadium so far this season. Only 8 goals scored, 19 conceded. They got their away wins at Millwall, Wigan and Hull City. Here's Bielik for Birmingham, into the feet of Hannibal, inside left channel. Now Longello, the left wing back, looking to take on Yeardon. The cross is blocked by Mbenge. Ince level with his own penalty area, clips a long ball downfield. Mate, a lovely flick on. Shane Long charging down the right wing. Mate's gone again for the ball back into the box if Long can supply it. He's held up by Trusty, and then Hannibal steps in and gets the vital footing. Can he prevent the corner as the ball trickles toward the dead ball line? He can, and then he wins a throw off Loom on this near side, the left. But again, Mate working so hard as the Reading front man to find his teammate Shane Long.
And Shane Long's finally with him, and I think Shane Long though makes the right decision in terms of Mate. He was the only one in the box. He tries to turn back and build the play, but again Birmingham being the aggressors, Hannibal tracking back, making sure he gets the tackle in, and then being really clever, preventing the corner and then knocking it off Loon to get the Birmingham throw in, which is
launched downfield, but Chong can't get away from Mbenge on halfway. McIntyre smacks the ball down the inside right channel, but it will just bounce twice and through to John Ruddy. Yaku Mate, now 26 years of age. He's spent 6 years now at Reading, was a former Paris Saint-Germain youth, but over 150 appearances for the Royals. Did score in the win at Hull in November before the World Cup break. Offside flag goes up against Mate as he tries to break through the centre of the pitch. He was just ahead of Sanderson, according to the assistant on this near side. So Birmingham will have themselves a free kick just outside their own penalty box, which Ruddy is preparing to take. Birmingham City 3, Reading 0. 9 minutes gone in the second half. Ian Dancer and Courtney Sweetman-Kirk with you tonight on Talksport 2.
Yeah, and you see John Ruddy is just really taking his time over this free kick, and as the minutes eat down, Birmingham playing themselves back into this game again in the second half, expecting this early pressure from Reading.
As Hendrick looks to find Shane Long, but Trusty read the ball that was clipped down the Birmingham left-hand side, but he couldn't keep it in play. And it's out for a Reading throw on this near side, despite Trusty's protestations. It is a throw which will be taken by Yeardon, just down beneath us to the right of our commentary position as we sit here towards the back of the old main stand that was built or rebuilt in 1954, despite all the construction problems in the Cop stand and the Tilton stand opposite. The old main stand keeps on going strong since 1954. Goal kick rather for John Ruddy, away to our right hand side. The Reading fans not had much to cheer in this game. They've had their moments in front of goal, particularly in the first half, but their trip up from Berkshire so far has been fruitless.
Yeah, I think John Ruddy, exactly what you want from your keeper. He's not had too much to do, but actually when he's been called into action, he's been brilliant. Another foul on Mayte, this time Sanderson the aggressor, and Reading had taken the free kick quickly, and McIntyre sweeps it out to Rahman on the far side. Rahman's got two blue shirts watching his every move, so the ball's played back to the halfway line, and Naby Sarr, who came on a free transfer to Reading after 2 years at Huddersfield, made over 100 appearances for Charlton before that trip to West Yorkshire, and has scored for Reading. That was against Millwall in August. Here's Shane Long out to the left-hand side, and Bengay trying to make some space. Hendricks out there trying to get the ball into the box. Comes out to Rahman. Can he get the cross in? Well, Maxime Colin got a foot in, but it still breaks for Reading. McIntyre, ball into the box. It's sky high in the air. It'll come down with snow on it. That from Mark Roberts. Tries to head away his own sky clearance. He's helped out by Bakuna, but the ball breaks again for the away shirts of Reading. Good strength from Mamadou Loom, gets away from Hannibal, who's still trying to get back at him. Ince sweeps it out to Yeardon, right-hand corner of the box for Reading, taking on 2-3 Birmingham players, tries to get the cross in, and it's behind for another Reading corner kick, their fifth of the game, but they still trail Birmingham by 3-0. Yeah, they're definitely looking more inventive going forward, Reading, but still Birmingham in that shape and defensive aggression. They just seem to have an answer for everything at the moment. Lucas Yau's going to be on sooner rather than later for at least one change that Paul Ince is about to make. Corner from Ince meantime, deep to the far post. Roberts heads it out of the area. Hendrick will just nod it down for Rahman, who tries to steer it back out to Ince on this near side. Good ball from Rahman. Ince finds Yeardom at the edge of the area, tries to jink past his man, but runs into Maxime Colin, who just thumped it gleefully downfield and puts it out of play for a Reading throw inside their own half. Yeah, and Sanderson as well does ever so well there, because it would have been easy to dive in and give away the penalty, but he's clever. He moves his body out the way and lets Colin clear that up. Birmingham City 3, Reading 0 on Talksport 2, your home of the EFL. As Dan mentioned, we've got two commentaries for you tomorrow. Burnley against Middlesbrough, join our coverage from noon, and then Norwich against Blackburn at 3. Mayte making a strong run down the left-hand side, but that's a better challenge, and a challenge that wasn't a foul. But Mayte just shoved Dion Sanderson in the back there, and that felt like a legitimate challenge where Sanderson won the ball. It did, but I think the issue is Sanderson said something to Mayte after he made the tackle that Mayte took a bit of an exception to by the look of it. Referee Robinson just having a word with Sanderson. Mark Roberts comes across to see what's occurring and is quickly sent away, but no yellow card for Sanderson, just a ticking off from Tim. And play continues with a Reading throw on the left-hand side. Played into the box, stabbed away by Longhello. Won't find Chong. And Bengay keeps it away from Chong and flicks it out to this near side. Ince will pick it up. Goes for goal. It whistles to the left of John Ruddy's right-hand post. And it's out of play for a goal kick to Birmingham City. And Tom Ince's shoulders drop as he turns away and trudges back to the halfway line. Here comes the change for Reading. And it will be Lucas Yao coming on for Shane Long. You can't say that Shane Long's not worked hard tonight. As always, he leaves everything out on the pitch, but in terms of as forward players, himself and Mayte not had much to feed off.
And Mbenge, who was at fault for the third goal with his swing and a miss after having tied up his bootlaces, he's off. And Junior Hoylett, fresh back from the World Cup with Canada, is on to replace him. So double change. Long and Mbenge off. Hoylett and Lucas João are on. Lucas João, who is joint top scorer with Tom Ince this season with 4 for Reading. What can he do about this situation? Here's Hannibal getting away down the left for Birmingham. Mamadou Loum at his back finds Chong just across the face of goal and couldn't turn it in. It's kept in play on the far side by Bakuna. Tries to whip the ball back into the Reading box. Loum will whack it clear, left-footed up to halfway, and then there's a foul on Mayte yet again. He's really getting the treatment from Birmingham's centre-halves tonight, and that will end up in a yellow card for Dion Sanderson for one foul too many on the Reading number 11. But at the other end, Chong so close to making it 4-0.
He was really close, but that's all about Hannibal. He does so well, rides a challenge, manages to stay on his feet, plays it into his teammate, and then Chong, it's just across the face of goal. I don't know whether it takes a bit of a nick on the way through, but the angle, it's acute, it's against him, and then there's no one backing it up there at that back stick. I bet Troy Dean is kicking himself that he's not there just to tap that in, and I think he's Lumley. He gets a little bit of a touch on that.
Slightly, not sure whether it would have been going in anyway, but Reading meantime have a free kick on halfway, which is banged out to this near side for Hoylett to get his first touch up against Longhello. Good ball into the box, headed away by Roberts. Had to make it first because Mayte was lurking just behind him, but Hoylett trying to get involved very early on as a Reading sub. 3-0 Birmingham with an hour gone. Yeah,
it was an inviting ball in by him as well. He just goes down the right and swings at a good ball in, but again, no one maybe just for Reading taking a chance. Yes, Mayte's in there, but someone needs to be darting across that front post area.
Burnley Borough, do forgive me, it's a 3 o'clock kickoff tomorrow. Norwich Blackburn then follows straight after at 5:30 from Carrow Road. And we've got Carabao Cup ties Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week, all on Talksport. Here's Ince into the area for Reading, cleared away by Trusty. Hannibal heads it further clear for Birmingham towards the halfway line. So yeah, Newcastle against Bournemouth on Tuesday, Manchester United against Burnley on Wednesday, and Manchester City against Liverpool on Thursday, all on Talksport, because the darts starts here on Talksport 2 on Monday night. Our live commentary of the PDC World Championships, which is already on the way. Bo Greaves, the 18-year-old from Doncaster, playing tonight. Find out how she gets on. Can she get through a tricky tie against Willie O'Connor? But our commentaries from Ali Pali start on Monday lunchtime. Shot from the left-hand corner of the area, driven goalwards by McIntyre, but well held by John Ruddy. It was straight at the Birmingham keeper, and he held it comfortably in front of him, bounces it a couple of times inside his penalty box and thinks about launching it downfield. Played 62 minutes on Talksport 2 here at St Andrews. It's Friday night in the Championship. Birmingham City 3, Reading 0.
Yeah, and I think Birmingham will start to think now they've seen off probably the worst of it, and Reading have tried to mount a good attack and started really fast in this second half, but as I say, Birmingham just seem to have an answer for everything at the moment. They've defended very well. They're first to any 50-50s, and on the ball they've been so composed, and they'll be disappointed actually that they're not 4-0 up.
Ruddy clears the ball down the centre of the pitch, but it won't find Deeney. Sarr will head it back to the halfway line. Sanderson gets his head to it first, but it will break for Baba Rahman down the left-hand side into the feet of Hendrick. Hendrick, though, dispossessed by Maxime Collat. Hannibal in the centre circle, trying to hair away from a couple of challenges. Spins and was dispossessed in the end by Ince. Now Hoylett, back for Loum. Yiadon trying to get the better of Hannibal. Got up to the halfway line. Can't shake the attentions of the Tunisian, who finally does give away the free kick. And it'll be bang on halfway for Reading. Hoylett will pick it up early. Hasn't had his customary yellow card yet, Hannibal Mejbri.
No, I was going to say, I think he's done really well. It's been a really measured and mature performance from him today.
As Hoylett wins another corner for Reading, their 6th of the game at the Gil-Merrick stand end to our right, hitting the ball against Longhello. Tom Ince waiting for the ball to be given back to him by the fans, the Birmingham fans in that lower tier of the Gil-Merrick. Eventually he'll be able to spot it down, so it'll be where the main stand meets the Gil-Merrick down to our right, where Ince is going to smack this left-footed corner into the Birmingham box. 64 minutes played. Birmingham 3-0 up. Reading corner. Ince into the near post, straight onto the chest of Chong. Chong toe pokes it out the area, keeping it away from Rahman, but it will be a throw to the Royals, right in front of John Eustace's dugout. No changes as yet made by the Birmingham boss. There's been a double change from Paul Ince to try and change things back in Reading's favour. Sarr looks for one of those changes. Lucas Zhao comes to the halfway line deep to pick up possession. Slid out to Hoylett, the other substitute, on this near touchline. Now it has to go back into the Reading half as they keep possession and look to switch play from right to left. Sarr with a ball in to out, looking to get Mate away, but it's just hit too firmly. But he's such a willing game worker, Yaku Mate. Didn't give it up, even when it seemed to be inevitably drifting over the dead ball line. Birmingham 3, Reading 0 on Talksport 2.
Yeah, he works extremely hard, and as you say, especially in this position, 65 minutes gone, 3-0 down. Most players probably wouldn't even bother making that run at some times, but he's still being a willing runner, even though he's been kicked all over the place tonight, but still trying to put in a shift for his team.
Surprised that there aren't more yellow cards because of that?
I think probably Birmingham have been quite clever in the way that they've targeted him, but it's been different players each time rather than one specific player really targeting him.
You're listening to Talksport 2, your home of the EFL. Ian Dancer and Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, the Sheffield United women's striker. We're with you tonight here at this chilly night at St Andrews, with plenty to warm the cockles of the Birmingham supporters who travelled here tonight in hope. And now, more in expectation, with just over a quarter of the game to go and 3-0 up. But Reading are not done yet. They are still working incredibly hard to find a way back into this championship encounter. Here's Lucas Zhao down the left-hand side of the penalty area, rolls it back to Mate at the edge of the area. Snapshot blocked at source by Bielik, and it just spins and loops up out the way, out to throw on the far side, out to play rather on the far side for a Reading throw.
Birmingham just needs to be careful that they don't drop in too much. They have played in a low block and a mid block for most of the game, but just need to make sure they don't go too much into a low block and invite too much pressure. I know it's still a long way back for Reading, but even if they get one goal on the board, it definitely becomes a more precarious situation.
There's going to be a change for Birmingham shortly, and Jordan James, who went away to the World Cup to get some experience with the Wales squad. He wasn't part of the 26, but he was there training with Rob Page's squad. He's going to come on shortly for the hosts, who lead by 3-0. Hannibal wins a throw on this near side, just loops over the head of Jordan James, and we're about to see who he's going to replace before Birmingham have a throw. And James is going to be coming on for Juninho Bakuna, whose clip cross led to Troy Deeney getting Birmingham in front in the first minute of this game.
Yeah, and he was absolutely excellent in the first half. He worked so hard, not just going forward but defensively, but in this second half he's not really been able to influence the game, and just spelling a bit of a change for Birmingham.
Yeah, Juninho Bakuna's brother Leandro was training at Birmingham but has since moved on to pastures new. So Bakuna off and James on, wearing number 19 for Birmingham. Just 18 years of age, an academy graduate, made 20 appearances last season and did score as well in his inaugural championship campaign against Stoke. Tall, rangy central midfielder. Birmingham restart with a throw in. Chong finds Deeney down the left hand side of the box, trying to hold off the challenge of Yiadom. Chong's there again, out towards the corner flag on this near side. Yiadom trying to hold him up, and it goes out to play eventually for a throw for Birmingham right by the corner flag at the Tilton end. 3-0 Birmingham lead.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how this develops, but I'm not sure if Birmingham have potentially gone to a 4 at the back. It looked like that as they shaped up. Now they've gone forward. I can't quite see their push Collan on, but maybe just shoring it up defensively.
Throw in collected by Hannibal, goes back out to this corner flag on the near side, goes to ground. Felty was found, he's trying to keep the ball on the deck, and eventually the ball goes out play. It's another Birmingham throw. Somehow that's been given Birmingham's way. Looked all the way as a Reading throw, but it's Birmingham's again at the Tilton Road end. James, his first involvement, collects the throw and wins another throw in, this time a bit further away from the corner flag for Birmingham City, who, I remind you, will go above Reading into 7th with the win that they're currently holding on to. They'd also go above Millwall onto 32 points at the midway point of their championship campaign. Longello down this near side, finds James, left wing, chance to centre the ball, checks onto his right foot, clips it to the far post, it's volleyed away by McIntyre, only as far for a moment as Sanderson, who pushed forward, but he can't get there. Roberts will head the ball away for Birmingham on halfway. Hendrick heads it down, but it will drop for Austin Trusty, and Trusty plays the ball through halfway for Chong, who then is fouled by Loom, and a free kick bang on halfway to Birmingham City, and we'll see whether the hosts have retained that five at the back shape, or is Sanderson now playing a little further forward?
Yeah, it looks like it. It's difficult to see as we're in transition at the moment, but just after that substitute they definitely looked like they were in a fall.
Well, we are also going to see Joe Bellingham, his kid brother's here, Jude, sitting in one of the executive boxes in this main stand. Here's Hannibal trying a snapshot of the edge of the area, half cleared by Reading. Bielik gets onto the loose ball, drifts out to the right hand side, ball into the box, lovely dummy by Hannibal. Deeney just wide, tried to crack it goalwards low on the half volley, and it went just the wrong side of the right hand post for Troy Deeney, and Birmingham stays 3-0 on Talksport 2.
It was clever though, the fans thought it was in. I thought it was for a second, the way that it comes back off the advertising boards and hits the back of the net, but it's really clever play. Step over in that from Hannibal, I think it was, and just trying to dig it out, Troy Deeney, and as you say, it just shaves the post. It was so close.
Stays 3-0 to Birmingham City with 20 minutes to go on your home of the EFL Talksport 2. Don't forget, tomorrow we've got Burnley Borough at 3 o'clock, followed by Norwich Blackburn. That is at 5:30, whilst on Talksport it's the third place playoff, and plenty of noise has been made by both Croatia and Morocco that they want the bronze medal for the World Cup despite losing in their respective semi-finals. That's 3 o'clock on Talksport, the World Cup third and fourth place playoff. The final of the World Cup Sunday afternoon on Talksport at 3 p.m, live from the Lusail Stadium in Qatar. Argentina against France. Meanwhile, Birmingham against Reading, going the way of the home side at the moment. Birmingham 3-0 up. Chong goes into the centre circle, just lost his footing as he tried to make tracks into the Reading half, and the Royals have it back with Ince, stroking it out to Hoylett on the near side to Rusty. Reading right, clips the ball into the area, headed over the bar by Mate, just got underneath it. Good ball in from Hoylett, found his target, but Mate couldn't keep the header down, and it's a Birmingham City goal kick, 3-0.
Yeah, because he's quite far out, Mate. I'd probably say he was just behind the penalty spot. I think he's almost trying to generate too much power. He just gets underneath it, and
from a standing start as well, really.
Yeah, it's well over the bar, as I say. Yeah, looking at it there, probably about 13-14 yards out, and trying to generate the power, but by doing that it sails way over the bar.
There's a few Reading fans I can see in the Gilmerick stand who decided that enough is enough with 20 minutes to go, and they're going to head back down to Berkshire with nothing to show for their efforts this evening. But the game is not done yet. 18 minutes to go. Birmingham City 3, Reading 0. Lucas Zhao on this near touchline keeps the ball neatly away from Hannibal, and Ince swings the ball out to the left hand side on the far side of the field from Essen Baba Rahman, faced up by Collin. Goes infield to Lucas Zhao, who's gone over to join him. Ince at the edge of the area trying to work the opportunity, tried to find Zhao, but it was won back by Birmingham, and Chong keeps the ball in play on the far side of the field under pressure from a couple of Reading shirts. James is clattered into, but nothing wrong with that challenge, said the referee, and Reading can keep possession. Ince, strong run from him, keeps it as he gets toward the right hand corner of the penalty area, slips in Hoylett on the overlap. Hoylett tries to get the better of Longello, who puts the ball behind for another corner to Reading. I make that 7 that Reading have forced in this game, and they still find themselves 3-0 down on Talksport 2.
Yeah, and Hoylett does well there to win a corner, because I think he wants that ball earlier from Ince. Waits and waits and waits, and by the time that the ball comes to Hoylett, it means that Longello can come out and press him, and it's always going to be a difficult cross from there.
So Ince with another corner where the main stand meets the Gilmerick end, clips it to the far post without too much pace. It's lobbed up in the air, but Birmingham half clear it. Rahman tries to get the better of Trusty, ball goes out of play. It's a goal kick, and that may well allow a change to be made. Joe Bellingham is now just doing a few stretches and exercises just with a bib on, but he's got his blue shirt and shorts and White Sox ready to come on as Birmingham's change in midfield. James has already come on, but it'll be a goal kick first to Birmingham, so Jude's kid brother's going to have to wait a couple of minutes to make another substitute appearance. He's only made one start for Birmingham. That was the game here against Sunderland. You heard it live on Talksport 2, and Sunderland came away with all 3 points from St Andrews. Deeney looks to play the ball over the top for Tahir Chong. Important clearance from Saar. Ball breaks down this near touchline. Hoylett will receive it from Yeardom. Neat ball up to halfway by Loom. Ince looking to play Mate in behind Trusty, but Trusty got there first and will guide the ball back to his keeper Ruddy. 3-0 Birmingham.
Trusty does so well there. We know that, let's say, he's got fantastic pace, but Trusty, he gets his positioning spot on there, and it just allows him to come across the Reading forward and play it back to John Ruddy.
That's new homeowner Courtney Sweetman-Kirk you can hear alongside me, Ian Danter, tonight. Only too happy to get away from unpacking things from boxes to come and watch a bit of live football.
Unpacking things and painting and sanding.
All joyous stuff. You wouldn't get me anywhere near that. You know that phrase, give me the tools and I'll finish the job? With me, it's the other way around. Give me the job and I'll finish off the tools. Birmingham 3, Reading 0. We've got a quarter of an hour to play on Talksport 2. And the ball's back with Joe Lumley, the Reading keeper. Yeardom collects it from him midway point of his own half. Looks for Mamadou Loom, and he in turn finds Lucas Zhao on the halfway line, tries to skip inside Bielik, the only player out there on a yellow card for Birmingham, although they've definitely targeted Yaku Mate in this match. Ball's out of play from Longello. This will allow the change to be made. A few final words of encouragement from John Eustace to Joe Bellingham, and it's Hannibal Mejbri who's making way for the kid brother of Jude Bellingham. Jude is here tonight as special guest of the club, and I'm not sure that he's the reason why Job is being brought on, but on he comes anyway. Just 17 years of age, made his first league start against Sunderland, yet to score a senior goal. 10 substitute appearances, make that 11, and Jude is taking photos of his kid running out from his position in the executive box. Meantime, Reading are on the attack with Hoylett, right-hand corner of the Birmingham box. Sends it across to the left-hand side. Rahman will get there ahead of Collard. Just holds the ball up for a moment, looks for Lucas Zhao, who's come to the left-hand corner of the penalty area, drags the ball away from Sanderson, brings in McIntyre. McIntyre's ball into the area, might break for Hoylett, right-hand corner of the box. Reading still pushing and probing and trying to find a way through. Ince now has it, gets the ball into his left foot, gets the shot away, it's blocked by Trusty, comes to Hoylett, who tries to drive it across the area, but shanks it horribly out of play for a Birmingham City goal kick. Birmingham 3, Reading 0. We've got round about 13 minutes of this game to play here at St Andrews on Talksport 2.
Yeah, he looks up to the sky there, doesn't he, Junior Hoylett? He just got under it, and that's so much frustration. They're trying to do the right things in this second half. Reading trying to take it to Birmingham, getting in the final third, but again for me it's just a lack of quality compared to Birmingham's composure in the final third.
Andy Carroll's getting some final instructions down beneath us. He'll be on shortly for another change for Reading. But time is ticking away for Paul Ince and the Royals. 3-0 down with 13 to play plus added time here on your home of the EFL. Out to the left-hand side it goes. McIntyre now on halfway will square it infield for Naby Sarr. Yeardom, who's now playing as the third centre half, as he has a few times this season for Reading. It doesn't go his way though, goes out to the left-hand side, and Rahman just leaves it for the chance to be driven in by Loom, and it was well held at his near post by Ruddy. Really cracked it goal was Yaku Mate there from a very tight angle, and Ruddy had his palm stung by that one, but patted it down and held on to it in the end. Birmingham 3, Reading 0.
Yeah, it did. I think it took Ruddy by surprise, and it took me by surprise, to be honest, in the position. I think it was a cross-come shot, and it could have caught Ruddy out, but again, when he's asked upon and when he's called upon, John Ruddy, he just gets it right.
Deeney tried to keep the ball in play as Joe Lumley was trying to guide it out for a goal kick. So the changes for Reading, and Mate, who has worked so hard tonight with little reward, is coming off for Andy Carroll. And the other change, Nestor Guinness Walker, is coming on for Reading as well got a free transfer from AFC Wimbledon in July. And Baba Rahman is the player that's coming off. He's walking around behind the goal at the Tilton Road end, Rahman. So Guinness Walker is on. Another double change then for Reading to try and do something about this 3-0 deficit.
Yeah, you can't help but feel now for Reading, with just over 11 minutes of normal time left, it's too little too late.
McIntyre on halfway for the Royals, plays the ball out left to Guinness Walker. His first involvement, tries to skip away from Maxime Collin. Ball goes back to Naby Sarr, midway point of his own half. Hoylett calling for it on this near touchline, the Reading right as they attack the Gil Merrick stand. High ball hit long downfield by McIntyre, chested down by Carroll. Trusty got it half clear, breaks for Hoylett at the right hand corner of the box, assisted by Ince. Ince just turns away from Chong for a moment, gets it back from Yeardom, still in the right wing position. Tom Ince trying to check back onto his left foot, can't put the cross in, but he finds Mamadou Loum. Loum will square it for McIntyre just ahead of the centre circle. Everybody behind him in royal blue. McIntyre again out to the inside left channel, thinks about a ball into the box, just running across the line, passes back at a square. It's rolled up for Lucas Zhao, but Birmingham win it back, and Tahi Chong trying to power towards the halfway line before he's brought down by Hoylett, and that'll be a free kick to Birmingham City. 3-0 they lead.
And Chong's so clever there. He uses his body well initially when the ball comes to him, he drops the shoulder and comes the other way, comes out with the ball, and that one will be sore, but actually he'll be glad to draw the foul because he knows it's running down time, and the closer then his side will get to this 3 points. I think it actually took his... Hoylett stepped on the back of his heel and took his boot off.
Well, he actually took his boot off, I think, to show the damage to the referee. So he's back on his feet, and Birmingham City will have a free kick just shy of the halfway line, looking to convert this 3-point haul that they're on their way to getting with 10 minutes to play. Longelo with a free kick from just inside his own half. Guinness Walker heads it up in the air on the far side of the field. It will break for Jordan James, who lets the ball go out to play for a throw, just wrestling with Hendrick to make sure that the Newcastle on loan player couldn't get anywhere near the ball. Collin will have a throw, and the ball's thrown in looking for Bellingham, but he can't get there. It's one back, at least temporarily, by Loum, but then James and Bellingham trying to converge on him and win it back. It's back with Naby Sarr inside his own penalty area. Yeardom, right hand corner of the box. Chong scurries after him. Hoylett gives it back to Yeardom, clips it back to Sarr inside the penalty area. He's got a bit more time to measure a ball forward. Naby Sarr clips it elegantly down the right hand side for Ince. Can Ince keep it in play? He can, superbly well. Tom Ince down to the dead ball line, faced up by Trusty. Can he find a teammate in the box for the cross? Looking for Carroll. Carroll brings it down, drives it goal, but it's blocked by Reading, and it's surely headed in. It is. Lucas Zhao gets at least one back for Reading with 8 minutes to go. Great work from Tom Ince down the right hand side for Reading. The cross went into the box. Carroll made a nuisance of himself. The Birmingham defence couldn't clear, and from about a centimetre out, Lucas Zhao gets his 5th of the season and gives just a small vestige of hope to the travelling Reading fans to our right. Birmingham 3, Reading 1.
Tom Ince does so well initially with this ball. It's a lovely crossfield ball. It looks like he's going to go out, but he's got the pace and the technique to bring it down. Gets the ball in, and Andy Carroll, as you say, he's just making a nuisance of himself, making it difficult for the defenders in. Then it's a bit fortuitous really the way it lands in the end to Zhao, but probably deserve a little bit of luck, Reading, for their endeavour in this second half.
Pretty much the first time we've heard Reading fans all night, as they have something finally to cheer. A goal on the board, and they've got 7 minutes now plus added time to try and further reduce the deficit. They've had a lot of possession in this second half, Reading. Now they've finally made it count. Bellingham on halfway just tips the ball away from Loum. He's got options left and right. Checks back in field and finds Bielik. Bielik squares it for James just ahead of the centre circle. Now Collin picks it up. Bellingham wants it once again. Plays it back to square to him. Wants an option, can't find one, so he goes back to Maxime Collin on the right hand side. Deeney's waiting for it at the edge of the area. Not too many players gambled forward by Birmingham City in this attack. Bielik finds Jordan James. Bielik again, midway point of the Reading half. Just keeps it away from Ince and from Loum, and they're trying to frustrate Reading now by just keeping the ball. Chong will guide it down for Bielik, who let the ball run across his body very well to keep it away from Ince. Roberts now squares it for Chong once more. Chong being closed down by Lucas Yao this time, so he guides it back to the halfway line, and Austin Trusty. Roberts, one of the other three centre-halves, takes the ball in between Ince and Carroll, out to Collar on the right-hand side. And it's all about keep ball for Birmingham at this point. 3-1 up.
It is, yeah. They know if they keep the ball, there's not too long left now, and they'll come away the winners. They don't want to waste possession. There's no need to do that, go forward. They don't need the goals. They just need to keep the ball.
Oh, Chong's just been caught by Loom just shy of the halfway line. Deeney was gamely giving chase as the ball was eventually lobbed forward, but the referee has brought play back for the Birmingham free kick. 6 minutes to go. Birmingham City 3, Reading 1. On Talksport 2, a result that will put Birmingham up to 7th, above Reading. So Reading would stay on 32 points but have an inferior goal difference. Coming next for Reading, home game against Swansea before away trips to Norwich and West Brom, all these games over the Christmas and New Year period before they play Watford in the FA Cup. Birmingham go to Burnley on Boxing Day before a home time here against Hull City, and Middlesbrough come here before a tricky looking FA Cup type Forest Green Rovers in the third round. Here's Longello for Birmingham, down the left hand side of the box as they attack the Tilton Road, but he clipped there by Yeardon. No, says the referee, and Hoylett under pressure from Longello finds Yeardon once more. His ball up to halfway, a fight between Zhao and Trusty to win it, and it's broken for Jeff Hendrick in the centre circle for Reading. Plays it out left for Guinness Walker, gets his head up, looks to hit a diagonal ball to pick out Andy Carroll or Tom Ince, who has it again, level with the edge of the area, right hand side, faced up by Trusty. Clips the ball into the near post, headed down by Bielik. Chong can let the ball run across his body, whacks it up to halfway. Deeney gets there first, shows good willingness, and then he's clipped by Naby Sarr, and that's a free kick to Birmingham to eat up a few more seconds. 4 minutes of normal time to go. Birmingham 3-1 up.
And yet again, I love the way that Chong uses his body there. He drops the shoulder, then lets the ball run across him so well, and he knows once he does that he's protected, because all the player can do is come through the back of him. Then he's got the presence of mind to find Troy Deeney, who does really well, gets his body in front, what we're used to seeing from him, and then gladly takes the foul.
Ruddy with the free kick for Birmingham City, looking for Deeney down this near side the left, heads it infield. He was looking for Chong, but easily picked up for Reading by Loom. Sarr just outside his own penalty area, squares it left for McIntyre, plays a diagonal ball out to this near side for Hoylett, brings it down superbly, faced up by Chong. Ince calling for it on this near touchline, the right wing. Longello closing down the space. Ince plays it infield to Hoylett. Yeardom showing in the right wing now, level with the edge of the area, skips past the challenge of Tahith Chong. Infield it goes to Hoylett. Hoylett 25 yards out. The route to go for a shot is blocked, so he goes out left via McIntyre to Guinness Walker, level with the edge of the area, faced up by Collar, tries to go on the outside of Collar, checks his run, Guinness Walker, then rolls it back to McIntyre, looping centre into the box. Carroll looking to make a nuisance, but it's headed away by Longello. Ince will pick up the loose ball though for Reading, still fighting hard to get a route back into this game. Only 3-1 down, they were 3-0 down for such a long time. Birmingham fans getting a bit jittery. Here's Ince on the right wing, cuts inside Chong, clips a lovely ball into the box, but Ruddy's lost it, and then he was fouled, and the free kick goes Birmingham's way. Don't know what the referee spotted there, but there was some infringement in the box he wasn't happy with, so Birmingham have a free kick. 3-1 the score. I'm
not sure myself. I think he comes out, he drops that. I don't see that he's overly impeded. I think Birmingham a little bit of...
it was a push on Carroll, by Carroll on Sanderson, I think, that was spotted, rather than anything on John Ruddy's part. He claimed the ball and then dropped it, but there was already a heavy push by Andy Carroll behind him on Sanderson. So it's Birmingham's free kick. 2 minutes of normal time to go on Talksport 2. 3-1 Birmingham lead. Collar just allows Guinness Walker to get the better of him on halfway. He'll just lay it back to McIntyre. McIntyre, another looping diagonal centre up to the edge of the box, looking for Carroll. He flicked it on, hooked away by Longello, but Reading will pick up the second ball. Ball played in field. Ince trying to make some space inside the centre of the Birmingham half, keeps it away from Trusty, who's out of position for a moment, has to dash back to join his fellow centre halves. as Reading come forward down the left-hand side. Out of play it goes off McIntyre and off a defender for a Reading throw. Taken quickly. Ince is left-hand side. Will try and put a ball into the box, will he? He's challenged by Bellingham and conceded a free kick. Referee says play on. It's cleared away as far as Loom. 25 yards out, plays it back into square to Yeardom. A minute to go. Reading still pressing, trying to get a second goal that would set the old collie wobbles going around St Andrews. Hoylett into the centre of the half, about 25 yards out. Dispossessed, away comes Bellingham. Only Deeney up with him. Bellingham holds the ball up. Lovely quick feet from him on halfway, reminiscent of I don't know who, and then keeps it in play on the far side and wins a throw for his team. Now, who did that remind you of, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk?
I'm not quite sure. I think it's the man sitting in the executive box, but he does brilliantly well there, Bellingham. He strides forward with pace and purpose, then the technical ability on the ball just to shift it from one foot to another pass player, and then it just takes the pressure off Birmingham.
Well, Longello's sat down on his backside inside his own half. Got some sort of problem, and the physios are going to come out to deal with that. Joe Bellingham is attracting, as you might imagine, given the surname itself, a lot of interest from other clubs, particularly around the Championship. We're into 5 minutes of minimum stoppage time. There'll be a little bit more to add onto that because Longello is still receiving treatment for a problem with his right shin, but I think he's going to be taken off, and Jordan Graham is going to get a brief substitute appearance for the last few minutes for Birmingham, and indeed that's the change that John Eustace is making. Joined last year from Gillingham, Jordan Graham, left winger, but used a lot in this left wing back role, so he's on for stoppage time for Birmingham, who are 3-1 up here. Talksport 2, your home of the EFL, with 2 more live games tomorrow from 3. Burnley against Middlesbrough, Norwich against Blackburn, back-to-back. The World Cup final on Sunday afternoon over on Talksport, 3 o'clock kickoff. Argentina against France. Who's your money on, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk?
Oh, it's a tough one. I said France before the tournament started, but I'm not much into fate, but I just do feel that it's Lionel Messi's time to win the tournament and bow out with a World Cup from international football.
Well, I picked Argentina before the tournament started. I thought I'd well and truly boxed them when they lost to Saudi Arabia for the opening game. Playing tournament football from that moment on, really, or knockout football, should I say, from that moment on Argentina, and I guess it's worked in their favour because they're in another World Cup final. Not reached the final whistle yet here at St Andrews. We're into 5 minutes of added time. Birmingham City 3, Reading 1 still the score. Here's Naby Sarr for Reading, hitting the diagonal ball forward. Carroll heads it away from Austin Trusty, picked up by Junior Hoylett on this near touchline. Ince still working very hard in the midfield for Reading, squares it for McIntyre. McIntyre plays the ball into the box, headed on by Hoylett, looking for Carroll. Trusty gets it half clear. Bielik gets it further clear. But Reading have it again. Mamadou Loom, lovely little Cruyff turn to get away from Deeney. Now Naby Sarr plays it square for McIntyre, just over the halfway line here for Reading. Right-footed ball down the centre of the field, but it's over Lucas Zhao head and bounces through to Reading, and Zhao just holds his hands out to McIntyre as if to say, what was that? Birmingham have the ball in the arms of their goalkeeper with 2.5 minutes of the minimum 5 having elapsed. Deeney is the target for this clearance downfield by Ruddy, and he's being wrestled to the ground by Yeardom. Free kick for Birmingham, and Courtney Sweetman-Kirk shakes her head to my left.
He's literally jumped on his back. He was looking for a piggyback, I think. Now, I don't know what's going through his mind there, Yeardom. I know he's obviously trying to win the ball back, but it's just a silly foul to give away.
So it's a free kick for Birmingham, midway point of the Reading half, just to the left of centre. Bellingham is the furthest player forward. Deeney and Chong on the near side, the left. Bielik will go right instead, looking for Collin, who's made a run. Can he keep it in play down by the corner flag at the Tilton Road end? He can. Did really well. He's got Guinness Walker facing him up, and Guinness Walker does equally well. Wins it back, and then is fouled by Collin. Reading free kick. 3-1 Birmingham. Here is Mamadou Loom, running away from Bielik into the centre of his own half. Shovels it out to Junior Hoylett just inside the Birmingham half of the field. Back for Ince on halfway. His ball across from right to left finds Tom McIntyre. Another long diagonal ball hit downfield by the centre half. Graham chests it down. Bielik back to keep possession, running towards his own corner flag, and then he concedes a throw, taken quickly by Hoylett. Yiadom gives it back to Ince, right hand corner of the box, trying to make room for a shot, gets the shot away, deflected it in. It is another for Reading. They're not done yet at St Andrews. Few nerves jangling with a minute of stoppage time to go as Tom Ince, the manager's son, does his dad's bidding and gives Reading a bit of hope with a low shot that snaked into the bottom corner. Birmingham City 3, Reading 2.
Troy Deeney is absolutely livid here. For one, it's the defending here from, I think it's Chong and Trusty. They don't get anything on this ball when it comes through. It goes through bodies. It's difficult for John Ruddy, but the fact Bielik is trying to take it in his own corner, I think he's trying to be too cute and too clever. He's trying to kick it off a Reading player to try and get the goal kick. It goes wrong, and that's where that comes from. And Birmingham, it's really silly that the game management is poor.
Well, the 5 minutes of minimum stoppage time are nearly up, and then it will be down to Tim Robinson as to how much more will be added on. It will be a little bit because stoppage time began with Longelo getting treatment. So a goal kick for Reading, and they want to get on with it. Taken short by Lumley to Naby Sarr. What have Reading got left? Can they snatch the most unlikely point here? Crossfield ball from McIntyre, looking for Hoylett. Keeps it in play just on this near touchline. Under pressure from Jordan Graham. Reading fans behind the goal to roaring their players on. They sense that something can happen. Forward it goes from McIntyre. Carroll chests the ball down. Tries to get away from Chong. Chong gets a foot in. Breaks for Ince, right-hand side, who's been the tormentor in chief for Birmingham. Down the right-hand side of the box, Lou gets to the byline. He's got it away from the defenders, but then Chong can bring it away for Birmingham and clip it up to Deeney. Deeney holds it up inside his own half. Goes down under pressure from Yiadom, and that's a free kick to Birmingham City. And that might just be enough for Birmingham to survive here, because that's what they're doing at this point. 3-0 up and coasting, and now they're hanging on to a 3-2 win.
Yeah, and I said earlier in the second half, in terms of Birmingham dropping in and taking the pressure, it's always a dangerous game to play, and it's ironic as well the fact that Reading, when they're more direct in the second half, they're getting the joy, and you just wonder, it's night and day between this first and second half. If they'd have started like that in the first half, where may they be?
Graham with the free kick downfield. We've played the 5 minutes of added time. It's up to the referee, and the referee says it's full time, and Birmingham City have hung on here at St Andrews to beat Reading and go above the Royals into 7th. They started the night in 14th. It just shows you how tightly congested that mid-table championship area is, as Birmingham, who were 3-0 up at half-time through a brace from Deeney and a goal from Tahith Chong, his first of the season, looked to have the Royal Blues in complete control, but the Royals came back with late goals in the second half. First of all, Lucas Yao on as a substitute bundled the ball home after great work from Tom Ince on the right, and then Ince himself drove a low drive in as we were in stoppage time, but it wasn't enough ultimately for Paul Ince and the Royals, as Birmingham go above them in this topsy-turvy championship table. Full-time score at St Andrews, Birmingham City 3, Reading 2.